Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and join the Flat Earth Debate community forum there. And if you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live. And there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Now, if you would like to join these shows live, then there is a link to my second channel, which is Nathan Oakley. And these shows currently go out at around 2 PM each day. So about 5 minutes to 2 at the moment. And I wanted to start just so I can actually go through some of the scheduling that's going to be taking place on these two channels over the next few days and weeks. So between now and mid-March, as I just said, the live show will go out on Nathan Oakley channel. So as I say, go to the information box right below this video, click on the link and subscribe there if you do want to either watch or join in with the live debates. So what will happen after that show, or the live shows finish, is they get switched off. So once the two shows finish, which is around 4 PM, maybe a little bit later depending on how the shows go, I end the show and then switch it off. And then this, which is what you are watching now on Nathan Oakley 1980, is what actually stays out. And then I'll turn them back on maybe a week later or something, just so I've got a backup copy. But it's great. From my perspective, it means the amount of work that I've had to do has been considerably reduced, which is absolutely fantastic news, as nobody wants to do more than they have to. So the Flat Earth Debate channel is now, at least for the time being, consigned to the dusty cupboard and maybe dug out again in the future, but for now it's not really that much use to me, because I can actually stream on a decent channel, which is what I'll be doing in a few moments time when we go live. So as I've got the audience to myself and there's nobody in the panel, I will do a few plugs. So massive shout out to all of the people who've joined me on Patreon. I really do appreciate your support. Thank you very much. If you do want to join me on Patreon or contribute to the show, then there is a link in the info box again below this video. Just go to Patreon. And also another big plug, as I said in the intro, for the nathanoakley.com website, which is done and dusted. I've just literally in the last couple of minutes stuck the last debate from yesterday. What number was that? 722, I believe. That's now on there. So there's a full archive basically of all of the debates if you want to check those out. But the thing that I want people to participate in more than anything else is the forum. So on nathanoakley.com you've got all of the housekeeping questions, along with obviously the code of conduct and various other things, and there's a few people on there chatting away. It's recently had the facility to actually upload things like pictures and things like that, so it's bustling forum. It's really started to take off, so check out nathanoakley.com and go to the forum. So I think with that I'll probably start the live show. Hopefully we'll get a guest while I do the intro. We shall see.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to keep up to date with the community Flat Earth Debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and join the forum there. If you'd like to support the channel, then there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly though, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you are new to this channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. Now, we're currently joined by absolutely nobody, so I should really get the link in the info box below the video so that people can actually join. That might be a helpful start. So I started on my own just so I could plug a few things in the pre-show that goes out to Nathan Oakley 1980 audience, along with explaining the timetable. I thought, did I actually go through the timetable? I think I did. But yeah, so what will actually happen for those of you who are in the live audience, I'll do some shout outs in a moment. This live show will get switched off once it's finished. So this will be the first republish of the live debate on Nathan Oakley 1980 once the second show finishes. So in essence, this show goes out, this one right now goes out from 2 until 3 or there or thereabouts, and then there's a little break, and then there's a second show which goes out from approximately 3 until 4, and that then continues to be recorded for the after show. Now in time, that after show will end up on Nathan Oakley channel, so typically the live show without any swearing goes out on the main channel, and then the slightly more sometimes heated and verbally blue show goes out on the second show with a smaller audience. So that's essentially what isn't happening now. It's the other way around. So the main audience gets all of the blue language and the swearing and the behind the scenes stuff and the boring stuff when no one's joined, like now. So it's one of those that will reverse in time, but for at least the time being, these live shows get switched off, and then the first show goes out at about 5 PM, so I can at least monitor it. I'm not obviously tied up doing the after show when it goes out live, so I can join you guys in the chat, which is obviously a bit of a Brucey bonus. As I say, I will do some shout outs shortly. But yeah, so the second show will then go out around midnight UK time, so around 5 or 6 hours later, depending on how long the first show was. So they're at least spread out. It seems that in the past, when I've released one after the other, the first show just dies on its arse and the second one gets all the views, and in many instances the first show is better than the second show. That's not always the case, but there's often information that gets delivered by people like Anthony Riley, who I'm hoping will join momentarily, as he did get in touch this morning with some various information that he wanted to pass on or disseminate to the audience, so hopefully he will join us shortly. So yeah, let's do some shout outs. Let's see who's in the live chat. Shout out to Rambo Jambo, first in as ever. Andres Ace, how you doing? Good to see you. Says hi Oak, hi Rambo. Matrix Media, hello guys, hello to you too. Shout out to Colin Turner for the super chat. Thank you very much indeed. AJM, afternoon to you too. Secret Asian Man, thanks for being here. Very good to see you. Labmal Johnson, probably butchered your name, I'm really sorry. Hello, new guest, how you doing? Oh, no, didn't want to say hello to me. Where were we? Truth Seeker Mafia, nice to see you. Flat Fraz 68, nice to see you as well. Adam Meakin, hello. Adam Meakin was the first interview I put onto the website. Unsalted, good to have you as well. Ryan Q. Vincent, nice to see you. Nice to see you, Simon. A. McKinsey, good to have you, my friend. The shout out, Colin, for the super chat. Thank you very much if I didn't. Steve, nice to see you. Very kind words in the comments the other day. Thank you very much indeed. FE Viking says skull. Skull, 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 skull. Do you know that song? It's really easy. It's just the one word. Flat Earth Audio, nice to see you. Is that Chief Brody? Thanks for being here. Shelby One, hello. Brandon, hello. John, hello. Is that DRT? The sun's blaring on my screen at the moment, so it's really difficult to read. Andre Browning, nice to see you. Parish Mike, hello. Zach, hello, good to see you. Don't know if the last person who joined just joined to see if the stream actually worked, or if we've now got some annoying back chat sniper. Slick James Johnson, good to see you, my friend. Going to leave one of your fantastic comments, please leave them on the main channel, Nathan Oakley 1980, where we'll get the most exposure. I'm not saying that just because you're very complimentary to me, of course, Slick James Johnson. Bill G, nice to have you here. Pete Shea, hello. No, I won't be shouting that out, you nasty man. Have I missed anybody? MB? What's up, Nathan? Sky? As always. NPC 564. Oh, it's moved into a sunny bit. See the last bit. Version 2.0 Russian bot edition. Hello, good to have you. Hello, Mad. Rambo Jambo again. I think I've done everybody that's in there so far. Made a video yesterday that I released while the second stream was going out about a guy called Gary Awesome, and I've only come across him in the last week and watched quite a few of his videos, and to be perfectly honest, I think he's a very good videographer. I think he's a good logical reasoner. He's good at picking apart fallacious arguments and fallacious debating tactics, and I love that. I love all that. That's great. Until he starts picking apart the fallacious arguments of subpar flat earthers that don't necessarily understand what science is. So in this instance, Orphan Red fell victim to Gary Awesome. So on the whole, in my comment that I left for Gary, I wasn't really paying that much attention to what he pulled apart from Orphan Red. They're not my views, and in many instances, if I did, I'd probably find myself agreeing with him, which is terrible to say, really. Not the ad homs and the name calling, but certainly the nonsense that she spouts about science. I mean, in one part, she's talking about how science tweaks a model. You're like, oh my god, you haven't got a vaguest idea what science is, and that's why this Gary guy's leapt all over you. No, pity. But I think as a community, we're getting there. Flat Earthers are starting to understand how science has been hijacked. How saying the word science after making a statement based off an observation of something doesn't make it science. But that's what we've been told it is. The scientific community says this. Scientists say that. The whole body of science confirms that. And it doesn't. Science is a method. It's as simple as that. Systematic experimentation based off a hypothesis. A hypothesis being your presumed cause of an effect you witness in the natural world, otherwise known as a dependent variable or observed phenomena. What science is exclusively interested in. It's not interested in models and their correlations with things. So that's Gary Awesome's video, or my response to Gary Awesome's video. Called it The Hat Trick, or A Hat Trick of Logical Fallacies by Gary Awesome. See if I can paraphrase what he said. No flat earther has ever disproved that the globe is real, or something like that. That's not a perfect quote, but to paraphrase his sentiments, it contained 3 logical fallacies. The first being the burden of proof reversal fallacy. So he's talking about the globe, which is his assertion and his claim, and then he immediately says, well, no flat earther has disproved. Moves on to the second fallacy, which is the argument from ignorance fallacy. So, Gary, you've not disproved that unicorns are real. You've presented no evidence that disproves unicorns. Right, Gary? Anyway, so yeah, the argument from ignorance fallacy. And then he used the most abused of all fallacies in this debate, which is the reification fallacy, to assert that a model, which is what the Copernican model when talking about the lights in the sky, or the heliocentric model if you want to refer to Earth travelling around the sun, but ultimately Earth as a sphere is a conceptual idea based on models that have taken observation and then put their mathematical spin into a model. Well, we don't live on a model. You know, the world that we live in is the world that we live in. Ron, that's where we live, not on a model. We don't live on the Copernican model, we don't live on the heliocentric model, we don't live on the flat Earth model. On the geocentric model, they're just models, and the best they can do is offer a correlation between what we actually observe in reality, that's the world we live in, obviously and observably flat from every vantage point, and a model that hijacks perspective, in the case of the heliocentric model, calls it Earth curve. Is available if somebody wants to join me, stop me waffling on. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind waffling all day. As I say, I was expecting Anthony to be here by now. Discuss the education system. Alas, no Anthony. Let's see if we can get him on Skype. Nope, doesn't look like I can get hold of Anthony. That's annoying. So yeah, so hopefully once that schedule ends of me sticking out a duplicate of a video that's now switched off mid-March, I won't even have to do that. I can just do them at my leisure, just for the sake of having a backup. That said, I did say that to somebody else the other day, and then it suddenly occurred to me that originally, it seems like an eternity ago, it's only probably about 8 weeks, the original way of doing it was to have the second channel have the exclusive to the after show and pre-show. So in other words, the second show would finish, and then you'd get the after show going out, again, like I say, 6 hours later, approximately, on the second channel, so you could hear the conversation that went on after the cameras had turned off, however you want to phrase it. You know, the typical scenario is everyone breathes out temporarily once the live show ends, and you've no longer got a couple of hundred people listening to every word. And then that does tend to mean the language gets a bit worse, but also the conversations can actually progress a little bit more if people are that much more relaxed, because no one's watching them in that moment other than the people on the panel. So based on that, I would occasionally clip out little bits of the after show just so I got them to the main audience, but I may stop doing that. I don't know, I have to see how it goes. Play it by ear. One thing I did notice when I was watching Gary Awesome's videos was that what I can glean from what he'd been saying was that he's also had hassle with YouTube. Not the same sort of hassle that I've had, but I think he's... Hey, Uncle Nathan. You're older than me, Doug. How dare you? But I think he's had similar hassles, so, you know, he's got a BitChute account, so you can put his videos in a place that won't necessarily get him any hassle. But one of the stories that he talked about recently was these guys at Patreon, which I was quite surprised about, having just joined Patreon. Big shout out to all my patrons. He was explaining that somebody had their Patreon funding, which is not Patreon's money, it's the people who obviously contribute. They're the ones actually handing over the money to whoever they're supporting. But Patreon cut this guy off for something he'd said or something he'd tweeted. I think he got banned from Twitter. And he pointed out that they're supposed to just be an administrator. That's their function, not an arbiter of whether or not someone's going to have a livelihood, which is a bit crap, really. I was a bit disappointed because, you know, you at least from setting up, hey Arwin, you get the impression that they're just an administrator. They're just going to administer the funds for a small fee, as opposed to use their terms of service, which is obviously their own creation, to, you know, literally stop people earning a living, which I thought was pretty poor. Yeah, so I did put Gary Awesome's link in the information box below the video where I critique his logical fallacies. Because he's a good videographer and you should go and subscribe to him. You know, he's got a lot to say about feminism, that's for sure. Or sexism, as it should be correctly labelled. But yeah, Ranty dropped me a line. Hey Arwin, how you doing?
Where's the rest?
Where's the what?
Where's the rest of the panel?
I don't know. I've got to take my own advice though, Arwin. I've said to you in the past, just, regardless of what's going on, just if you've got a show scheduled, just start.
Right. Yep.
So that's what I've done.
Well, I did put the link to this show in the in my chat after I rounded out, so...
Ah, thank you. That's very kind.
Of course. No problem. That was the original plan, remember?
Yes.
Free to go to the debates.
Indeed. It's symbiotic though, isn't it? I mean, I'm often shouting you out on these shows. Did you hear us shouting you out on Patricia's show the other day?
Yeah. Oh, I definitely did hear that. Yeah. Much appreciated.
Well, we meant every word. You don't have to thank us. I mean, we like you, Arwin. You don't have to thank us for it. You know what I mean?
Now you're making me blush.
Well, the thing that I like to highlight, because I'm guilty of it, so was Anthony, was, while you were getting the optical slant, and we'd kind of hush you up. And, as time progressed, it became ever more obvious that you got this stuff. And at the moment, there's till March at least, until I go back on the main channel, there's stuff playing out on the second channel, just in case I wasn't capable. And you getting onto those videos now where you start talking about it. So I'm quite intrigued to hear how we actually... Obviously, I've not gone back 12 months ago and listened to how we discussed it with you initially when you first started bringing it up. I do remember the eyeball on a stick. That definitely sticks in my mind.
Yeah, the awkward silence is like... I don't know what he's talking about, but yeah, whatever. That kind of thing, yeah.
The moment the penny dropped was Zachary Sabala, who's also in the chat, otherwise known as Good Times for All. He did a little short, it's probably 6 months ago now, and he drew, it was like a line in orthographic with 3 triangles, one after the next. And as soon as he said this diagram is going to become the most important thing in this arena in Flat Earth. Now, although he didn't say it, he's talking about perspective, and the diagram's basically a pictorial way of saying we can explain perspective with this, and of course we can. Obviously we've progressed a lot further than that now, Zach included, in our understanding. But as soon as I saw that picture, I was like, that's what Arwin drew. The second I saw it, I was like, I know somebody who already understands this, because obviously I didn't know what Zach was going on about at the time. He just said, this is an important diagram. This is the key to explaining what they've done and all the rest of it. And all that I could think of was your diagram that looked the same, because it was the same. You had the same idea. You just didn't explain it mathematically. You just explained it conceptually. But the concept being...
Descriptively. I tried to explain it descriptively.
Exactly.
Yeah. You mean this one?
We got getting the eyeball on a stick. Yeah, you've got it.
Yep, the eyeball on a stick.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is essentially a side view of what you actually see. So, although it's hard to explain to somebody that bottom wiggly line is going up to your vanishing point, that's what you call the first slant, the first optical slant. And then beyond that point, it's down to angular resolution of the item itself, with it disappearing through angular limitations. But there we go. Hey, Chocolate.
Hey, Chocolate.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Good morning.
How you guys doing?
I often get asked if I don't sleep, but I think the same about you. You're everywhere, always, Chocolate.
Yeah, I don't sleep like a human.
Yeah, me neither.
I never really have, to be honest.
You just work all day, don't you?
Well, not all day. I mean, most of the day. Not all of it.
Yeah, I bet you do take lunch breaks and dinner breaks and
Yeah,
breakfast breaks, right?
Here and there. I can't. I'm not a robot.
That's fairly standard practice, Arwin. People generally work.
Yeah, thanks.
I wasn't having a dig.
I know. I dig it. I dig that at myself. Is.
But you've got 201 shows, so you're fully committed to doing this on YouTube. And I noticed you gained another 100 subscribers.
Yeah. Sort of. It did. It peaked at 1101, and then went back again. And now it's stuck under that 100. So it's like it's the new baller conspiracy. Like, oh yeah, let's Let's let him give that sensation that he just passed that other mark and then put him back. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, they
Now
do
you're
that.
not at an 1100 subscribers.
It's more likely to happen at 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000. So you get to 2,995 and you're like, yeah, sweet. And then you get to 3,001 and make that video going, thank you to all the people who've just subscribed. And then you go back having published the video and you're at 2,998.
Yep, exactly. That's what
Some
they do.
bastard subscribed you by 5 subscribers, only to unsubscribe you to make you feel bad about your day.
Mm-hmm.
Buggers.
Yeah, some people, what they do with their lives.
Shout out to They Lie Ohio for the super chat. Hey, party time. How you doing?
Hi, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Good to have you.
Oh, thanks. I'll probably join tomorrow, I think, but I'm just checking it works.
No worries. Good to have you.
Great, thank you. I'll log on now. Thanks.
No problem. Validation Boy is God, according to They Lie Ohio. I like Validation Boy. Validation Boy is very similar to Arwin in the respect that he got a lot of these arguments prior to me. So I got some really good information from Validation Boy. His best argument, although he'd probably say that his best argument's the intangibility argument, but I don't agree. I think his best argument is actually what I now use as R, that presupposition that is always, without fail, used without exception. If you are going to quote unquote prove you're on a globe, you must first presuppose you are on a globe. And as far as I'm aware, the first person to have said that was Validation Boy.
Yeah, well, that's really big then, if he was the first to do that. But
Yeah.
It's so true. Like everywhere we go, at the supposed globe proofs or gravity, all that, every time you look into the formulas, there's always R. Remember how we looked through the Cavendish formulas and everything, and it's like, oh, look, yep, they have R. Remember that?
Yeah, they scale it though, don't they, in Cavendish? So their R's the radius of the torsion bar twist that's being instigated on the pseudoscience apparatus that they claim is a phenomena. So their R is different. It's just then scaled in the mathematics to give you the weight of Earth. Just bollocks. Just such a pile of bollocks. We can weigh the Earth with this. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, have a look through this telescope into my shed.
Well, I can weigh the Earth as well. You know how I do it? I take a scale and then I put it upside down on the ground.
That's genius. Shout out to is that Eagle? Eagle, Plane and Anchor. Link to Arwin's channel, please. With pleasure.
All right. I don't have a wrench, so you'll have to do it.
No, you don't. Nobody's got
Nobody
a wrench, to be
has
fair.
a wrench, right?
Nobody has. Got one moderator on the other channel, Nathan Oakley. That's actually ranty. Just demonstrates how poor I am at multitasking, doesn't it, while I'm trying to bring up your video. Hello, Zinda.
Hi, how are you doing?
Very well, good to have you.
Good. I just wanted to say that biggest step for humanity was to discover R. R.
The biggest what for humanity?
The biggest step forward.
How did they get
development.
it? How did they get it? Do you know?
Well, they looked at the circle and then they figured out what R is. I don't know the story behind it, but
okay,
I'm not sure. But I wasn't talking about R in the Earth-based
like saying the invention of the wheel, almost.
Yeah, like R is really, really useful. I mean, you can put it everywhere, kind of where circles are, and we get a lot of benefits from it. But yeah, just wanted to point it out that art is everywhere. Everywhere you look.
Hey, Anthony. Hey, sleeping warrior. Nope, no sound. One sec. Okie dokie. So there's a link. I hope I've put the right link to Arwin's channel. Go and check him out. Subscribe today. Hello, Bob the Science Guy. Is that really you? Hello. No sound, my friend. Ebbun, hello. How are you doing? Can you hear us?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I hear you guys great.
Need to mute your watch page, I think. Got a bit of feedback.
Can you hear me?
Hear you now. Is that Anthony?
Yep.
Yeah, my PC updated, and I lost all my sound settings again. Fucking pain in the ass.
Nightmare.
Hmm.
Let's try and check
Oh,
Bob
right.
the Science Guy again. Bob, can you hear us? Clearly not.
Might not be the right person either.
He has a picture of the smoking man from the X-Files on him.
Shout out to Cynical Skeptic for the super chat. Thank you very much indeed. Better support FE, send PayPal so that YouTube don't get such a big cut of your donations. I'm good with that. I mean, it's part of the fun, isn't it? Super chatting. Get your thing read out, at least if it's live. Only the last 2 days they get run out. But yeah. Yep, thank you very much, Cynical Skeptic. Really appreciate it.
So, what for missed?
Nothing. I haven't even done housekeeping.
You start late?
Everybody's late. Why is everybody so late?
I don't know.
Don't know.
I'm used to arriving at a full panel every time. So.
Yeah, you were the first one here, Arwin, for a change.
Yeah.
So, what's your deal, Eben?
Well, I just became a flat earther maybe 2 months ago or so. So I'm relatively new. I found your channel about 2 weeks ago, and I've been enjoying listening to the debates.
Oh, thank you very much.
That's it. We're in a lull at the moment, Eben. They don't like the ballers don't like coming in anymore because they claim that Nathan's too heavy-handed, but the reason is because they get battered every time they bring up silly points that don't have any evidence to support their assertion. And if they do bring up evidence, it's not particularly strong. But they present it as really strong, and they present Nathan as being horrible because he blah blah blahs. But the fact is that if it was really the case that we lived on a sphere, the evidence would be abundant, it would be comprehensive, it would be credible, and the fact is, of course, we wouldn't even exist if it was obviously a sphere, and it's not.
Yeah, yeah, I noticed. I always use the argument that when they're trying to claim evidence for the spherical Earth, they fall flat.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Flat Earth documentary from, I think, from Globebusters, right?
You mean Netflix?
Oh, behind
Yeah.
curve.
Yeah, I have to look at it, or I have to see it, because I've heard there are some globe evidence. There's some globe evidence inside.
Yeah,
No,
no,
there's
no, they're not.
misrepresentation.
I've just watched it yesterday,
Really?
completely. I had to sit through it.
I heard.
Tearing my eyes out.
I heard.
Well, good morning,
journalism-
Nathan. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Is that Bob?
Well, good morning. How are you guys on this glorious morning?
Very well, thank
We're
you.
ready. We're ready to manipulate the independent variable in a scientific experiment, Bob. You understand how that works, right?
Might figure it out.
Oh, good. You've changed your position since the last time we met. You said last time that you don't have to manipulate your independent variable in a scientific experiment, and I told you you were wrong. At least you've changed your position, thankfully.
No,
Oh, so you still maintain the
just know how
position
to
that you
do it.
don't?
but that's okay.
What was that? You don't what?
I said you don't always have to do that. But,
Yeah, you do if you want it to be counted as scientific.
I don't accept your definition of science.
I don't think you know the definition of science.
Well, guess not.
What's the definition of science, Bob?
I'm not here to answer definitions.
So what are you here
You
to
want
do?
to chat or don't you want to chat?
We are chatting.
What are you here to do, Bob?
talking about? We are chatting.
Bob,
I'm
you're
here
a fake,
for you,
you're,
man.
you're,
I heard
you're a
that you
fake
wanted to
scientist,
talk to me,
Bob.
so I'm here.
You're a fake scientist and you push fake science.
Well, you're
Okay.
welcome to call me names. I'll avoid doing that with you.
No need.
No, I'm not calling you names. I'm saying that you practice fake science.
Well, that's your opinion. That's fine.
Well, can we test that opinion? What's your best scientific evidence for the spinning ball religion?
I don't have a spinning ball religion.
Yeah, you do.
Well, that's why we've asked you for scientific evidence. That would refute that, wouldn't it?
Do we spin once a day,
Yes.
Bob?
Yes,
How
we
do you
do.
know that? How do you know that?
It's measurable. I just told you.
Oh, measurable. What measurements have we taken to show that the Earth spins?
Oh, let's see. What would you like?
Evidence
like
that
proof.
shows that the Earth spins.
I'd like scientific evidence of spinning, please. Can I have scientific evidence that we spin?
I don't have scientific evidence, but I think Globebuster.
I wasn't asking
made
you, Zinder.
ring-
I wasn't
ring-
asking you, Zinder. I was asking
Oh,
Bob,
sorry.
the
Nathan.
science guy, for his science for axial rotation.
I'm asking you to state the evidence that you will accept.
Scientific
Earth
evidence.
spin.
That's the second time I've said it. Do you need me to spell scientific evidence out, or did you hear me?
All
Maybe
right,
acknowledge
what do you consider
the standard.
What do you consider scientific evidence that the Earth spins?
You present it, and I'll rip it a new asshole.
I'm not going to present it. I don't present.
Oh, well, then piss
evidence.
off.
I
Earth spin.
Then what the fuck are you
demonstrate
doing here? Piss off then.
that. You tell me what you want.
I'll say it
Bob,
again
I'll
for the
scientific
fourth time.
Of science.
Listen, shut
Okay,
up
will
and
you
listen.
accept a
You're asking a
gyroscope?
question. Don't keep talking. Let me answer. What am I asking for? I'll say it really slowly. You are called Bob the Science Guy. Shockingly, I would like science from you. Specifically, scientific evidence that we spin. Did you understand
All
that?
right. But before we're going to do that, Nathan, you're going to tell me specifically the criteria and the test that you want to see.
Oh, I want
Because I'm not gonna
systematic.
play
Oh,
these
are you
games
going to
with
carry
you
on
back and
talking after
forth.
asking
All
a
right.
question again? You've asked me what standard, and I'm about to tell you. Now you have to shut up. So, systematic experimentation backed by a hypothesis.
So the observed phenomena would be
Why do we
sunrise
need
and sunset.
systematic experimentation backed by a hypothesis?
Because
for
that's
a measurement?
science. That's why.
I don't need that to make a measurement.
What, science? So why is it in your
Well,
bloody name?
Yeah, I do not
You
need
just
an
assume it, like a
experimental
religion.
method to make
No, he's right,
science,
Nathan.
to
He's
make a
right.
measurement.
He's right. He doesn't need that for a measurement. So what is it you're
All
going to
right,
measure?
I can measure it. I can measure the spin of the Earth with a gyroscope.
Oh, can
Right.
you?
So
Yeah,
You can,
okay,
hold
so
on,
let's see
hold
how-
on. You think that's measuring Earth spin, that tool?
a gyroscope measuring 15 degrees per hour. Yeah, that's measuring Earth spin.
Can you put it into a logical syllogism for us, please?
No,
Why not?
Gyroscope.
We would like to
I don't
understand.
care to.
Excuse me. We would like to understand how your claim of a gyroscope proves Earth spins.
it's not
Let
a claim
alone
of a gyroscope.
measures it.
It's a measurement.
Yeah.
Know the
Just
difference,
saying
Nathan.
it's a measurement doesn't explain.
gyroscope
It's not a logical
actually does
syllogism.
that? Is it a
Well, if you're on the
physical
surface of
gyroscope
the-
or is it a gyroscope based on light? Is it a physical one? You know, where
It's a
actually
laser
the
gyroscope.
momentum and everything works.
It's a laser gyroscope.
Oh,
Measures
it's a laser
15 degrees.
gyroscope.
So explain it
You
to
have a
us.
problem with that?
Just explain it to us. I haven't got a problem. You haven't explained
Doesn't
how
work
it
the
measures
same.
Earth spin. So explain it.
All right. A laser gyroscope measures 15 degrees per hour spin.
Sorry, that's
15
just asserting
angular
your
degrees
religious
per hour.
belief. That's
Of
just
light.
asserting that that's what it
Of
does.
light, not a physical matter.
Oh, Alwyn,
Okay,
That-
so
that's just an
it's
assertion.
of light, not a physical matter. So now you're going to change the goalpost.
Yeah, light
That's
is not
fine. We'll go on
physical
to the
matter.
next
That's
one.
correct. You got that correct. Light is not physical
All
matter.
right, that's fine. So you're not going to accept that evidence, okay? What
Yeah,
evidence
because
will
it's
you
not
accept?
physical matter. The Earth is not light. The Earth is physical
Ah.
matter. That's
So
right.
now you're
And
changing.
you're
You're
claiming
changing the
that the
standard of
physical
evidence.
matter
That's
of
fine.
Earth spins.
Sorry,
So
I asked for
bring
scientific
physical
evidence.
Okay, well,
matter
you don't
proof.
want to accept light. That's fine.
I
What else
wanted
would you like?
science. I wanted science. You've got science in your name, and you've immediately said, I'm not going to give you that. And then you've said, I'll give you a measurement, and you haven't. You haven't explained
I
how
gave
it's
you a
measuring.
measurement. That's
How
a,
is it
A
measuring?
gyroscope is a measurement. You don't want to accept it. That's fine.
You've just declaring
That's
that it's
not
a
my
measurement.
problem.
Just declaring something as a measurement does not make it so, unless you explain how it works and what it's measuring. That's why I asked you
It's
for a
measuring
logical.
angular rotation
Yeah, you
of
seem
the
to
Earth.
talk over me a lot. That's why I asked you for a
I'm gonna
logical
continue to
syllogism.
do
That's
it.
why I
I
asked
will
you for
continue
a
to do it.
logical syllogism which you refused to give.
Okay. So what else would you like?
A logical syllogism for the gyroscope example and how it proves Earth spins, failing the
you've
scientific
already
evidence that you refuse to give me.
The gyroscope won't work because it's light, and that's not matter, because now you've got matter as a requirement to be a measurement. But that's
Sorry,
fine.
we're measuring
We'll go on
Earth
to the next
spin.
one.
No,
No,
it's
Earth
about
spin.
the workings
Arwin,
of
for God's
gyroscopes
sake!
themselves.
No,
Arwin,
that's
I'm trying to
fine.
have a
No,
conversation
you can-
here,
you
and
know
you're just
about
interrupting.
You can have your little
How that
fantasy.
works, what it
You
does,
can have your little fantasy.
how
Arwin,
the
you just
momentum
take
of
over.
physical
My bad.
matter in gyroscopic setting, how that actually works. Well, if you're going to do that with light, it's not the same thing. That's the
Okay,
whole
so you
point.
won't accept it. That's fine. I'm okay
The
with
only
that.
thing you're
What else
proving
would you
is
like?
that the ether is rotating, okay? The
There's
ether,
no
when
such
light
thing as
actually
ether.
comes
Doesn't
into
prove that
play-
either, Arwin.
No,
There's no ether.
it doesn't scientifically, but it does it indirectly. It doesn't really matter
indirectly
because
isn't
the
proving the
physical
cause.
Well,
matter
that's
is
fine.
not spinning.
We'll move
Excuse
on.
me.
What else would you like?
Excuse me, it does not prove the Earth or ether is turning.
There's no such thing as ether.
I don't care what you
But
declare.
that's
I've just said
fine.
it doesn't
Yeah,
prove
that's
it,
fine.
so
We'll
who
go on to
cares?
something else. What else would you like?
I'd still like you to give us a logical syllogism for how
I'm not going to.
You're talking over me. So we will disregard then your claim that a gyroscope proves Earth spins because you won't explain it to us.
I already have.
Oh, well,
but
good for
won't
you.
accept
Well, then
it, and
I'm
that's
sure
fine
all
with
the
me.
audience are completely convinced. Well done. A job well done, Mr. Science.
Not a problem.
Good. Well done.
What else
Just
would
to
you
be
like?
clear, that's sarcasm. You haven't given us a logical syllogism. You refused. So you haven't explained it.
I've already explained to you that
Yeah,
it's a
just
laser.
declaring that you have isn't giving us a logical syllogism. You refused. So stop declaring you've proven something. You haven't. You've not given us science. You've not explained how a gyroscope gives you measurements. You've done nothing.
That's fine.
No, it's
That's
not
fine.
fine. You haven't proven anything.
Fine for
you
me.
failed.
All right. What else would you like?
Well, I'd
I'd
like
still
you
like
to actually.
of course, he was asking you, Arwin.
that-
My bad,
Wait,
Arwin.
no, no,
My
but
bad. Of
this is
course, that was you in
important. This is
conversation,
important,
Arwin.
Nathan.
My bad, Arwin. Sorry.
Good.
I've already-
This is important.
I've already explained once what I want from somebody who has science in their name. Your best scientific evidence, please.
All right. Would you like weight differentials based on latitude?
I'd like your best scientific evidence that proves we live on a spinning ball flying
I'm
through a
not gonna play these
vacuum.
games with you, Nathan. Will you accept weight differential based on latitude due to centrifugal
No,
force
because
from
that's
the rotation
that's
of
a
the
form of logical fallacy known as affirming the consequent.
No.
What do you mean, no?
I'm asking
Yes,
you if you will
that is a logical fallacy known as affirming the consequent.
with you, Nathan.
That's a
Now,
logical
give me a
fallacy.
yes or a no.
It's a logical fallacy, so
Give me
no,
a
I
yes
won't
or
accept
no.
fallacy.
Will you accept
Will you talk over
weight
every single
differential
reply?
based on
Is that what you do?
latitude?
Is this what you do? Is this your tactic, like every other asshole baller, to talk over every word I say? So no, I won't accept a logical fallacy. It is not proof of anything.
You don't know what a logical fallacy
Oh,
is. Nathan.
really?
So
Yeah,
if you
well-
want to accept weight differentials based on latitude, will you accept that?
No, because it's a logical fallacy
Will
known
you
as
accept
affirming the
sunrise and sunset
consequent.
and the pattern of light?
It's a logical fallacy known
Will
as
you
affirming
accept-
the consequent.
Sunrise and sunset and the
Also
pattern of
requires
light, the lighting
presupposition
cloud-
of an
the other
Earth
side of
being a
clouds,
sphere.
for example.
That's a logical fallacy also. You have to presuppose
How
your
so?
outcome.
How so?
You have to. I just said it. If you shut up while I talk, you might hear. It presupposes its outcome.
How does it presuppose its outcome?
You tell
I'm
me how
asking
the.
you, the pattern of light on a mountain can provide evidence of the rotation of the Earth.
Explain how.
And sunrise and sunset can.
Explain how.
Certainly. On a spherical Earth.
So you've already begged the question, you stupid retard. So you're immediately telling us
You're
that
gonna
it's
call me
on a
names,
spherical
Nathan?
Earth.
Because I'll
You
end this
utter
right now. You're gonna sit down and call
retard.
me
So
names.
on a spherical Earth is by definition begging the question, you stupid retard.
All right. You want to go with spherical Earth then?
Excuse me, you've just used a logical fallacy.
Do you wish to go with spherical Earth, Nathan?
Excuse me, you've just begged the question. On a spherical Earth, you said. Your first words were to assume your outcome. That's fallacy, you stupid idiot.
All right. Fine. Do you want to go with spherical?
It's not fine. It's a fallacy, you stupid retard.
You wish.
Not
Look,
fine.
you can call me names all you want, Nathan.
You are demonstrating that you have no science and you only have logical fallacy. I have pointed out that it's a logical fallacy, and your reply is to say, okay, fine. It's not.
All right.
No, not all right. Yeah? That's not you conceding your fallacious argument. It's you saying, okay then. It's not.
No, I stated that it's a spherical Earth. Now, you're questioning that. Would you like to go with proof of a spherical Earth?
That's what we're asking for. Your scientific evidence for the globe. And the first thing you've given us is told us that if you're on a spherical Earth, hence me pointing out that you are begging the question.
All right. Do you want to go then with spherical Earth? We'll prove spherical Earth first, if you wish.
When I asked for scientific evidence of your spinning ball religion, do you not think that was precisely what I was asking for?
You know, if you ask for evidence of rotation, there are certain things that go along with that. All right. What? A flat Earth doesn't rotate, does it, Nathan?
Sorry, that would be an argument from ignorance fallacy. How many more fallacies have you got? The Earth, the flat Earth does not rotate.
Don't worry
so
about it.
Are you going to now challenge me to disprove non-existence? That would be called an argument from ignorance fallacy.
You want to prove the spherical Earth right now? We'll go ahead and do it.
Go on then.
All right. Flight paths and shipping routes. That's all I need to prove.
Sorry, you haven't proven anything. Unicorns and tea cakes. There you go. Proof of flat Earth. I need say no more, because the unicorns and tea cakes is all I need to say.
Nathan, are you going to talk over me, or are you going to listen and learn
You didn't
something?
say anything. There was a long pause. There was a huge pause. And then you declared that that's all you needed to say. Well, retard. No, strangely enough, you actually need to explain your bullshit so I can rip it to pieces as soon as you beg the question, which happens pretty quickly with you.
Oh, very good. Okay. Hey, game on then.
Yeah, your best scientific evidence for the globe, please.
I'm going to cite air routes and shipping routes over distance as proof of the spherical Earth.
How does that prove the spherical Earth?
Done on great circles.
So great circle.
And that is only possible on a spherical Earth.
That's a begging the question fallacy again. So you've just done it in reverse. So you've put your assumption at the end of your statement rather than the beginning, and you think that isn't begging the question. You're a retard, Bob the science guy. Why don't you rename yourself Bob the fallacy guy? Because so far, we've had nothing but fallacy. So Bob the science guy is not very appropriate. Bob the fallacy guy would be much more appropriate.
Oh, Nathan, you can call me names all you want.
You have used nothing but logical fallacy so far.
The proof of the spherical Earth is that the shortest distance between any 2 points is a great circle route. Now, that can't be on any shape other than a sphere.
False equivalency fallacy.
It's not a false equivalency fallacy.
That cannot be done on any other shape but a sphere. So you're saying, if it's a sphere, then it will work.
I'm saying
you are again.
The Earth is a sphere, and as a result, the
Earth is a sphere. So he's just going to declare his religious belief now. My God, you are possibly the biggest fundy zealot we've had so far. So you're just going to declare that the Earth's a sphere, then not prove it.
You haven't listened to anything, have you, Nathan?
Yeah, but
I've heard you just declare.
We're not on a sphere, right, Bob?
You've just declared we're on a sphere.
It doesn't work
That's
if
your
we're not on a
declaration,
sphere.
not scientific evidence. You've just declared it like a fundy zealot.
I'm sorry, but the distance between any 2 points is known on Earth.
Oh,
and
what shape is that
the
Earth?
shortest distance between them.
What shape is that Earth?
Yes.
What shape would that Earth be, Bob? Would it automatically be assumed to be a spherical Earth?
It's called a great circle course.
So if the Earth is a sphere, let me just formulate it for him. If the Earth is a sphere, then we will see shorter distance of travel between X point and Y point. We see a shorter distance of travel between X point and Y point, therefore the Earth is a sphere. That is called an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy.
It's the route that you take to get to that point over the surface of the Earth is a great circle course, and that only occurs on a sphere.
Yeah, that's what I've just said. That's called an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. If the Earth is a sphere, we will take a shorter distance on this route. We do take a shorter distance on this route, therefore the Earth is a sphere. If P, then Q, Q, therefore P.
Nathan.
Why'd you keep talking over me?
Because it's so fun.
Yeah, just because you're losing. You've got nothing
I'm
but
losing?
fallacy, Bob. All you have is logical
The
fallacy.
shortest distance between any 2 points is on a great circle course, and that only occurs on a sphere. Therefore,
He just keeps doing it. He can't help himself. Yeah, you keep repeating your logical fallacy, dickhead. Keep doing it, because it'll make it better if you keep repeating it.
Do you always just like to call people names? Are you 12?
No, what I do is demonstrate, using their own words, how stupid they are. And in this case, not just stupid, but fallacious. You use...
Okay, that's great. That's fine.
Why are you talking over me again? I was in the middle of a sentence, Bob. You're talking over me again.
The bottom line is a
bit triggered, are you, Bob?
Bit triggered. On a sphere, and that is the shortest distance.
Yeah, you just keep doing it. You just keep using the same logical fallacy. Do you have verbal diarrhea? Are you a stuck record? Do you think that by repeating this logical fallacy 5 more times that I will suddenly accept it as proof?
I don't care what you accept or don't accept, Nathan.
Oh, right. Well, I don't accept logical fallacy even if it's repeated 16 times. It still doesn't make it proof. It makes it an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy.
Affirming the consequent. That's great. So
yeah, that is great. That's what you're doing. It's not great. It's fallacious. Not great. Not wonderful. Wrong. Logically incorrect. A fallacious part of your cognition. Reasoning that is not sound. That's what it actually is, as opposed to great.
All right, Nathan, go ahead.
Yeah, I was.
You can go ahead and carry on like that.
I am.
Carry on.
May I interject? This is a Bon.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Okay. So, being a recent newcomer to Flat Earth, I did a lot of research just trying to debunk it. Right. So the 3 discoveries that were supposed to prove that the Earth is moving was one stellar aberration. Then the second one was stellar parallax. There you go. And the third one was the Doppler effect. And I remember that from Astronomy 101 when you learn about redshift and blue shift. And so, but that you can't measure through a gyroscope. You have to have pretty high-tech instruments that they don't really tell us what they are.
They don't really tell us?
Yeah. What's an instrument that will measure the Doppler effect? A telescope?
You know, I don't know. I don't know exactly how they do measure the Doppler effect. We can check real quick, though. You know, basically, most of it's done with a telescope. That's what parallax and stellar aberration is.
So you presuppose
the wavelength of light.
Okay, so what's your question?
Do you have any scientific evidence for the Earth being a spinning ball flying through space? That was my question. It still hasn't been answered. I've just had logical fallacy from you.
Okay, well, yeah, you can take your logical fallacies and do with them whatever you wish, Nathan. I don't play that game. All right, so let's look at 6 different ways, perhaps, that we can tell the Earth is spinning. Okay, the first one is sunrise and sunset and the pattern of light on mountains and tall buildings and clouds. All right. Now, the second would be weight differentials based on latitude.
I've already gone through that. That's a logical fallacy.
The third is
hello. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Hello, Monkley. How you doing? Can you hear me? Bob, you have verbal diarrhea. Bob.
Yeah,
hello,
the
Monkley.
next one, let's see. The next one would be the
I have to kick this
pendulum.
guest out because Bob literally cannot shut his mouth.
Kicked him, he's a troll.
I'm asking a question. I'm answering a question, Nathan.
Yeah, I already explained. The weight differential thing is a formal logical fallacy. If we experience weight difference... Yeah, you're going to talk over me again, right?
No, I'm going to ask you how so. You stated it's a formal logical fallacy. I'm calling you on it. Tell me how it's a formal logical fallacy.
I formulated it for you. if the Earth is a sphere, we will experience weight differences as we travel from the equator. We experience weight
No, it has
differences.
nothing to do
I am
with it.
finished!
It has to do
Shut
with
up!
rotating
If you interrupt me again, Bob, I will kick you out. I was in the middle
Go
of
right
a
ahead.
sentence.
Do it. Because I will kick your ass in here.
Oh, really? All you seem to be able to do is
really.
formulate... You're doing it again. All you seem to be able to do is talk over me and formulate a logical fallacy. I was in the middle of explaining precisely how the weight difference thing is a logical fallacy, and you talked over me. That's a cheap
Go right
tactic.
ahead.
You're doing it again. Cheap.
Go right ahead, theater major.
Yeah, you don't need to give me permission to talk on my own show, you arrogant piece of shit. Thank you. I will continue, hopefully uninterrupted, to explain again for the second time how this is a logical fallacy. If the Earth is a sphere, number one, that's a begging the question fallacy, then we will experience weight changes as we move from the equator. That's if P, the Earth is a sphere, then we will experience weight changes, Q. We do experience weight changes, Q, therefore the Earth is a sphere. P, that would be an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy.
All right, my turn.
Could you
May I have your
respond
permission to
that?
speak?
Could-
Great,
could-
Nathan.
Could you not bypass it and actually confirm that you heard that?
Yeah,
And got
I
it?
confirm that I hear it. All right, Mr.
What do you
Theater
think
Major.
about
First
it?
of all,
What do you
weight
think about it?
changes by latitude have nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. They have to do with rotation. If you actually had any science background, you would know that. Now, the reason the weight changes based on latitude is the distance and the angular speed compared to the equator. Now, the closer you are to the equator, the less things weigh.
Sorry, what's the
closer
equator?
you are
I'm
to the
sorry,
poles,
just
the
to
more they
interrupt. I'm
weigh.
really sorry, Bob. I
Because
just need
of
to get some clarity
rotation.
on terms.
You're interrupting
I'm sorry,
me,
yeah,
Nathan.
because I need to understand something you've said. What's the equator exactly?
The equator is the midline of the Earth.
Midline?
And it's
What do you mean
a line
midline?
written on your precious Gleason map.
Sorry, what do
It
you
is the
mean
largest
midline?
diameter of the Earth, north to south, and it's a measured quantity, so it's not really in question.
It
know
measured.
what
How
it
did
is.
they measure it?
They surveyed it. They
So
surveyed
the
a degree of
equator?
latitude on the equator.
How did they get it? They didn't survey it. They derived it. Do you not know how they got the measurement
No,
for the
they
equator?
surveyed a degree
A degree of what?
of longitude on the equator.
Sorry, longitude
They
is
did it in the late
automatically
18th
assuming...
century.
Sorry, you're automatically assuming that the equator is the outside edge of a sphere.
It's
you
measured,
could describe the
Nathan.
equator differently, like...
Excuse me, Zinda.
place
You don't need to rescue him.
Ah,
You
okay,
are
okay.
automatically assuming that the equator is the outside edge of a sphere.
How am I doing that? I'm saying it's a measured line.
It's not a measured line. It's derived from the path of the sun. So, no, it's not a measured line.
Oh, it's derived from the pattern of the sun. How's it derived from the pattern of the sun, Nathan? Explain this to me.
Derived
I'm
from the
unclear on
path
it.
of the sun, not a measured line. The equator's not a line. It's a concept. It's not a line that I've measured, you stupid Burke.
It's a line of latitude. It's the zero
So they've already got
latitude.
this latitude. A latitude's also a concept, not a place you can go to. A concept.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a
I
concept.
can't define your location and latitude.
Do you want to show me a picture of a latitude line on Earth? Do you want to show me that?
It's on maps, you simpleton.
Oh, so it's not in reality then. It's a concept on a map, precisely like I've just pointed out then. So you're talking about going to
I can
concepts
point you out exactly where it is. There's
on a map.
Sign that says the
On a
45th
map.
latitude
That's
on
not
the way
a
to
measured line. So you haven't measured a line on Earth because there isn't
Okay,
one.
so you think
It's a
that the
concept
equator is like a
on
orange blue
a
line that's on the
map.
Earth?
Yeah, every time I demolish your argument, you
well-
talk over me. Yet this would be ripping me ripping your argument to pieces, and all you can do when I do it is talk over me.
Nathan, your argument is that the lines of latitude are something that are painted on the Earth. That's
No, that's the opposite of what I'm saying. You're saying it's a measured line, and I'm saying no, there is no line.
all right. So you don't understand the concept that
Oh, so it is a concept then? Like I've just pointed out. I don't understand the concept when I am quite specifically pointing out that this is a concept and not a line that you can go and measure.
All right. Do you know what a property?
Yeah, oh, so now for a subject change. Yeah, asshole. That was the demolition of your argument. I did just crap all over it, and now you're not going to move past it. So, it is a concept, as I correctly pointed out. It's not a physical line that you go and measure. It is derived from a light in the sky.
That lines of latitude are painted on the Earth.
No, there is no lines of latitude on the Earth, you circle-jerking asshole.
All right.
Yeah, all right. Correct. I have indeed demolished your argument. You keep saying, all right, or maybe a little sigh every time it happens. It won't change that you're being obliterated, Bob, the non-science fallacy guy.
Nathan Oakley, I'm taking some notes here. Nathan Oakley thinks that lines of latitude have to be painted on the Earth.
No, that's not what I said. You said they'd measured a line on Earth. That was what you claimed. Now you're strawmanning me and misrepresenting what I've actually said. Another cheap trick from a pseudoscientist practitioner who has nothing but fallacy. Now you are misrepresenting what I have said. No, I have not claimed that latitude lines are painted on Earth. You declared it was a measured line. It's not. It's a concept that you keep talking over every time I point it out.
Nathan, you simpleton.
Oh, so now it's the ad hominems. No, I've demolished your argument. Ad hominem isn't actually addressing my rebuttal to your bullshit.
I am addressing your rebuttal.
What, by calling me a simpleton? No, that would be an ad hominem fallacy.
No, I'll get off with your fallacies. That's the best you can do.
No, that's the best you can do. That's called projection. It's not I that's using fallacies here. It is you. So not claiming that I have the best in fallacies, but you, as that's what you're using. So don't project. That's your failings, not mine.
About your logical fallacies, Nathan.
Not my logical fallacies. I'll say it again because he's deaf. Your logical fallacies. For example, begging the question and assuming your outcome. For example, formulating a logical fallacy known as affirming the consequent. These would be your failings in logic and not mine.
Fallacies out. You want to discuss latitude and longitude now? Is that what you want to go on to?
We can discuss it. We can discuss how they have been deduced. From the heavenly body relations to the position.
All right, let's discuss how
as they have been perceived without actually having proof there's any physical.
Rob's just going to talk over you the entire time, Arwin. He won't let you get an entire sentence and make a point. He'll just talk over the top of you because he's a wanker.
Well, yeah, to discuss latitude and longitude.
That's how wankers behave.
Can we get an agreement on the equator first, please?
Oh yeah, so, let's get an agreement. Does everybody agree that it's okay to presuppose that the equator is the outside edge of a presupposed sphere? Is everybody cool with that?
No.
I have another.
No, I'm not okay with that.
If you aren't okay with that, I have another.
We haven't got an agreement from the panel yet, Zinder, so let's just get a consensus. Is everybody on the panel cool with us presupposing that the sun traverses the outside edge of a sphere? Is everyone cool with that?
No. Absolutely not.
I am cool with it, however, that it has been observed to be at a maximum at the equator, the apparent equator line on the Earth, however it may interconnect. I don't really know for sure if it's like a circle or straight line or anything. Don't have any perfect confirmation of that, but we can definitely conclude that it has been deduced from the celestial positions in relation to the Earth.
I don't want to hear any deduction. I don't want to hear a calculation. I just want to hear his proof for rotation of the Earth. That's it.
But we can agree that it seems to form a line or a circle, the equator, right? Because we can see that at the equator the day and night is almost the same, and it is only happening at a certain width and a certain length that you can measure, or you can look at the shadows at 12 o'clock, and you can see that the shadows appear to go at 90 degrees down of the.
Oh my God! As Zinder babbles his way through this bollocks that requires the presupposition of R, I will say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you're watching on Nathan Oakley 1980, stay tuned as there will be a short after show to follow. Massive thank you to all of you in the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. Check out nathanoakley.com and join the forum there. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Say geographical.
That's after the fact. That's not
After
actually
the
the
fact
way
of
to
what?
establish it. That's after assuming it.
How are you assuming anything?
He's not, you are, you stupid dick.
All right. Well, you can call me names all you want. Like
Yeah, because he's not assuming the Earth's a sphere. You are, as I kept on pointing out when I pointed out you're begging the question fallacy. First you assume you're on a sphere, then you make us do an observation, watch something change, and then you declare that that proves you're on a sphere. Every single time. He's not assuming it, you are.
Okay.
You do that too. You say okay when I absolutely demolish your religious faith based on a presupposition of an R value derived from the sun's path. So yeah, it's not okay.
What does the R value have to do with the sun's path, Nathan? Explain that to me.
That's how they derived it. They got the circumference of the sun's...
Really?
Yeah, that's how they
Didn't
derived
have
it.
anything to do with the sun's path.
Yeah,
All right.
they derived it from it. That's how they got the
How did they
circumference
derive
of a presupposed
the R
sphere
from the
by...
sun's
Oh,
path?
I'm just going to get talked over the entire time, am I? So yeah,
I'm asking you a question. All right.
Yeah, they derived it from the path of the... Oh, you're asking me a question, but you're going to talk the entire fucking time afterwards, are you? Yeah, they derived it from the path of the sun and presupposed it's going around the outside edge. Oh, I got halfway through a sentence and Bob the wanker guy is talking again.
I'm asking you...
Yeah, I know what you're asking. I'm trying to answer, but you keep talking. So you ask, and then you continue to talk halfway through a reply. Again, making you a complete wanker.
Answer the question, Nathan.
Yeah, I was in the middle of answering it, and you talked over me.
So, want to try again, Nathan? I'll mute him if he talks again.
Yeah, you presuppose it's traversing the outside edge of a sphere, giving you a circumference of a sphere. Hello?
He's done now.
Am I allowed to talk yet?
Yes.
No shit, there was a great big gap and I shouted hello at you. What do you think?
I don't know what to think because every time I start to talk, you start talking over me, Nathan.
No, that would be projection. That's what you're doing to me. I get halfway through a sentence, then you talk over me. So let's have less of the projection because that's what you're doing.
Nathan, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I host the show. I'll do what I like. So no, I won't shut up.
Now, if you want... Now, was R only computed based on one test by Eratosthenes?
No, it's assumed originally by Aristarchus watching shadows go over lights in the sky.
Aristarchus is a different one. Do you know the difference between Eratosthenes and Aristarchus?
Yeah.
What did Aristarchus do?
Sorry, I just said he presupposed R.
What did Aristarchus do?
Watched a light go across and have a shadow travelling across it.
That's Eratosthenes.
That's
Aristarchus is the one that determined the distance to the sun.
Aristarchus. That's what Aristarchus did. That's what Aristarchus did. That's what Aristarchus did.
All right.
Yeah, that's what Aristarchus did. Assumed we were on a sphere based on a light and a shadow in the sky.
Okay, so
And Aristophanes put sticks in the ground and then assumed based on the sun shadows.
The ground. Okay, based on an assumption of parallel rays from the sun.
No, based on an assumption that the Earth was a sphere. He based his assumptions on Earth being a sphere to begin with.
Did I not just say that, Anthony?
Yeah, that's our point. That's begging the question, you stupid dick.
I stated that he assumed two things. One was that the light from the sun was parallel because the sun was distant. and the second was that the Earth was a sphere.
Well, that's useless. That's a begging the question fallacy. So we don't assume our outcome here. That's why I originally asked you for scientific
Nathan,
evidence.
will you shut up and let me finish?
Yeah, he did finish. He assumed his outcome. He assumed the Earth was a sphere. We know. You're finished. You're done.
I am not finished.
Yeah, you are. He's assumed his outcome, therefore making anything from this point on fallacious reasoning. He's already assumed his own outcome. He's not proven it. He's assumed it.
You want to hear how we determine the circumference of the Earth or not?
Determined?
Yes.
No,
determined.
He assumed it. I've already said this.
No,
he assumed radius
assumed.
based on the sun's path.
Doesn't mean it's assumed.
I've already gone through this, Bob. He assumed it based on a light in the sky. Same as the original assumption that the Earth was a sphere, based on a shadow on a light in the sky.
You're wrong on that, Nathan. I'm trying to educate you.
You know what's sad is that you guys do a lot of assuming, a lot of calculating and assuming. You guys don't do a lot of measuring.
I'm going to go ahead.
I want to tell Bob, look,
measurements.
Your history that you're assuming is even wrong. The one who demonstrated that the Earth may be spherical was Aristotle. Aristarchus was just the one who thought, okay, the distance to the Earth and the Sun and the Earth and the Moon was based on his observations. He was not the one that thought that the Earth was spherical. Yes,
that's total nonsense. So when you say the distance between the Earth and the Sun, do you mean the Earth as a flat plane, or do you mean the Earth as a spherical object causing the shadow that he observed? Because that is precisely what he did. He assumed the shadow was caused by a spherical Earth. He was the first to assume it. That is absolutely correct, newbie. Wrong. He assumed the Earth caused that shadow. The Earth being a spherical ball.
You're getting your history mixed up again, Nathan. Now, do you want to learn the correct thing or not?
I don't give a crap about history. The fact is they assume it's a sphere. Who gives a crap? All that matters is it's a begging the question fallacy. Oh, am I done talking, am I, Bob? Am I done? Am I in the middle of a sentence again, Bob? Are you going to project later and tell me that I do this to you, Bob, while you talk over me continually? Yeah, I was in the middle of a sentence. Thank you. So, who cares? The assumption is the problem.
Now, you ready to have me show you how they determined the Earth was a sphere or not?
What? Like I asked you originally for scientific evidence that the Earth was a sphere?
Yeah, I can give you multiple. Now, number one is the problem with Eratosthenes. All right. Now
we just went through this. He begged the question. He assumed his outcome. That is the problem. He has assumed his outcome. We've gone through this, Bob. Moving on.
Are you going to listen or not?
We went through this, and clearly you didn't listen, because you're now repeating yourself, and we've already gone through it, and you've already admitted it. He assumed the Earth was a sphere. So none of this is going to prove it's a sphere. You're talking again, Bob. None of this is going to prove it's a sphere. He's assumed it. You stupid dick.
All right, well, like I said, call me names all you want.
Yeah, you're a dick, because you keep repeating the same thing. Then accusing me of talking over you when you continually interrupt as I demolish your religion. Then you do not acknowledge the demolition. And then you repeat it again. Yeah, that's the behaviour of a dick.
Now, am I going to be able to speak or are you going to talk over me again, Nathan? Now,
you have
the problem with Eratosthenes is this. The problem with Eratosthenes is this. He used one measurement and got a 7-degree shadow. Now, that works on both a flat Earth and a spherical Earth. The problem that you run into is when you start getting multiple sites doing the same thing. And a classic example of that is using a sextant and Polaris. Now, you can actually measure the distance between degrees of latitude determined by a sextant. And that, my friend, only works on a spherical Earth. It does not work on a flat Earth.
Again, that's called an affirming the consequent, formal, logical fallacy. I have gone through this with you 3 times.
Nathan, it's a measurement.
No, it's not.
The only time that a sextant works on a flat Earth is at the North Pole and at 45 degrees north. Every other line of latitude is wrong on a flat Earth. They fit perfectly on a spherical Earth. That's
again. So that is another false equivalency and an affirming the consequent. So it only works on a sphere. So it only works when you assume your outcome. That's what you're saying. You must assume it's a sphere in order to get your example that you give to work. So the way you constantly formulate this affirming the consequent is to say, if the Earth is a sphere, then you insert bullshit, then you restate your bullshit, and then say the Earth is a sphere.
You look at the horizontal drop and the amount of obstruction due to the curve and calculate a radius of that curve from that.
Curve?
Oh,
that radius,
hold on, Owen.
What curve?
Sorry, what's the horizon?
The
Sorry,
circumference of the Earth.
Again, we need to clarify
all
terms.
Of the factors come together.
We need to clarify terms. What's the horizon?
The spherical Earth.
What's the horizon?
The horizon is the bulge in the curve of the Earth.
Oh, so you're presupposing that the horizon is the bulge of a spherical Earth. So yet again, Bob assumes his outcome.
Nathan, you can easily measure the amount of obstruction.
Yeah. So you are literally going to ignore what I've just pointed out, that you have begged the question, because you have predetermined that the horizon, the arbitrary point where the land meets the sky, is in fact the leading edge of a sphere Earth. So when you presuppose what the horizon is... you're going to talk over me again, Bob? Maybe you should project that I'm doing this to you again. Shut up and listen to me demolish your argument. You don't have to like it, Bob. You can just squirm and talk over me. That's all you've got. So, Bob, you've presupposed your outcome again. You've just told me what the horizon is. And according to you, it's the leading edge of a sphere Earth. So you already know what you're measuring is a sphere Earth. And then you're going to tell me, insert bullshit here, and then use the insert bullshit here to prove it's a sphere Earth when you've already determined that's what it is. Begging the question, Bob. Maybe you'd like to acknowledge that, Bob, rather than move past it. Yeah, no, don't strawman us, Bob. Maybe acknowledge what I've just said.
Start with the assumption that it's a flat Earth and show that it's...
No, that's another strawman. You don't seem to be acknowledging me, Bob. You seem to be ignoring me like a fundy zealot.
Yeah, I pretty much do.
You seem to be ignoring me, Bob.
I pretty much ignore you, Nathan.
Yeah, so you're not a very good debater, are you? So I make a point, you ignore it, strawman me, and then say I'm not a very good debater. No, you haven't acknowledged my point.
All you do is shout logical fallacies and shout over your guests and call them names. That's not a good debater tactic. That's just a bullying tactic.
No, that's actually pointing out the truth. That's actually pointing out the truth.
He's not interested in the truth. He never
yes, we are. Yes, all of us are.
So did Aristarchus have the truth?
I bet you're just used to putting on your white lab coat and monologuing and having all this awe and respect from people that are just going to believe you outright and see you as a scientific authority because you've learned some books.
Oh, I learned some books. Okay, so I've never done an experiment.
So yeah, indeed, it's very blatantly obvious that you've never actually had a debate. Never anyone ever questioned what you have to say because you keep on talking over everyone. And by the way, every time you do that, when Nathan is talking, nobody but here, people on the panel will be hearing you because when Nathan talks, everybody else is silent. So just so you know, rambling over us is just going to be annoying. It's not actually going to bring out any points.
Fine with me.
Just saying.
Can I make a point?
It's fine with me. So you want to go ahead and do curve. Okay, and you say that I presuppose, which is an incorrect term, by the way, that the Earth is a sphere. All right, so we can take a flat Earth and we can demonstrate that on a flat Earth we should see an entire mountain. If we don't see the entire mountain, we can sit down and we can say, well, the only way that that will happen, since there are no obstructions between me and the mountain, is that it has to be a curved surface, and we can calculate R from that curve. We can calculate R.
So it has to be a curved surface, and then we're going to work out if it's a curved surface based on the fact that it can only be a curved surface. So what you're saying, in effect, is you must presuppose it's a curved surface for you to work out...
No, I can start off with a flat surface and predict what I would see on a flat surface.
You think that obstruction may be caused by something else? Like optics? Limited
You can
viewing
measure and
angle.
demonstrate that.
Limited viewing angle, diffraction.
No, you didn't. You didn't measure that, Bob. You liar. So I pointed out that you weren't measuring the drop to give you a circumference. That you were actually presupposing that you were looking at the leading edge of a sphere, which is begging the question and assuming your outcome. You then went on one about how I talk over you, like you're doing to me right now, and ignored the point. Moved on to a straw man about how a flat Earth works. So again, I've come to pointing it out again, and I guarantee you won't acknowledge it.
Go right ahead.
Can I make an observation? I've been trying to get in for the last few minutes.
No, I'm asking you to acknowledge my demolition of your point. But again, you just decided you're going to move past it and make a new point.
No, Nathan, I just don't acknowledge that you have a point.
Oh, really? Well, I do. And it's crapping all over your religion, because every time you make a point, Bob, you predetermine your outcome. You presuppose Earth's a sphere by saying things like the horizon is actually the leading edge of a sphere. So from that, we can work out horizon drop while Bob talks all over me again. So I'm demolishing the same point, Bob, and at the exact same time, you talked over me again. Maybe tell me how I do that to you. Go on.
Well, you asked me what the horizon was. I told you. Then you said, well, that presupposed something else. And then I said, okay, well, here's how you measure that something else. You just don't follow the conversation very well, man.
No, I do. You also ignored Arwin. After that, Arwin asked you if it could be possibly something else. Do you want to reply to that?
I already did, but I'll reply again. I said, yes, it could be. And we can measure those and test it.
So if it could be something else, how are you going to say that you're measuring the drop from the leading edge of a sphere if it's possibly not the leading edge of a sphere, Bob? That kind of ruins your logical fallacy, does it not?
Well, no, it doesn't. And I'll tell you why. Because you think that we determined that the Earth is a sphere based on one measurement. No, we don't.
That's not a measurement. That's not a measurement, Bob. Let's get it clear. You predetermining what the edge that you're going to measure the drop of, that's not measuring the drop. It's presupposing it's the leading edge of a sphere. It's called begging the question.
Nathan, you don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, really? Well, why don't you actually acknowledge one of my points rather than just give a hand wave dismissal to them and say that I don't understand what logical fallacy is? Maybe if you actually acknowledge one of my points, we might get somewhere here. Because otherwise, I don't mind staying on the same point indefinitely, going round and round and round with the audience understanding by the end that you are actually a fundamentalist.
What I'd like to say is... like Bob states that there are 1,000 measurements, but I would like the first measurement that he had to be more accurate. I hate to kind of take the side of the ball Earth, but I don't want someone to debate flat Earth and the spherical Earth with the bad science, bad history. Because if you want to debate it, you get the best argument put forth. So the Aristophanes experiment or observation was based on the high noon at the summer solstice. You measure that, assuming that the sun is directly overhead and there's no shadows cast. And the other assumption is that the Earth is spherical, so 360 degrees. He goes to another point on the planet and measures the degree of the sun. And in Alexandria, it was 7 and 12/60th, or 7.2 degrees south of overhead.
Sorry, you've already just explained in that explanation my problem. My issue is contained within your explanation, which is that you assume the Earth's a sphere. Yes. You then went on to describe it as a planet while you were doing the observation. So you've already decided, presupposed, that it's a spherical planet. So you already have your outcome. Why am I being talked over? Yeah, you already have your outcome. It's presupposed.
You don't know what that term means, Nathan.
Yeah, I do.
You love to use it, but you use it incorrectly. It's kind of a source of amusement to me.
Oh, really? Well, just prove R, and then we'll all stop laughing at you. Because as I understand it, every single mathematical proof ever provided ever of a spherical Earth uses the presupposition that you're on a spherical Earth.
Presupposition, Nathan, means that you have no evidence for it. All right.
Yeah, that's right. So when they presuppose that it's a sphere and use their measurement, in quotes, to claim they've proved something they have absolutely no evidence of, it becomes fallacious reasoning, Bob. Well done.
Shall we continue with the discussion of Eratosthenes that was started by one of your other panel members?
What, that he presupposed it's a sphere? Yeah, every time you go through it, I point out that he uses a presupposition that the Earth's a sphere. Something that you've just quite eloquently pointed out means you have absolutely no evidence for it. So yeah, presupposing something you have no evidence for isn't proof of something, Bob.
Just to keep it real, you haven't provided evidence or proof of anything since you've gotten in here. Nothing.
Every time you assume or if or this, you're assuming your outcome.
All right. Now, going back to your original observation that Eratosthenes got that 7.25 degree shadow on the solstice. Now that works on both the flat Earth.
Do anything other than completely circle jerk my audience for possibly the next hour, so I think that's probably the best point for me to round out this show. Hello, sausage. Have you woken up? With that, I'll say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the audience in Nathan Oakley 1980 for tuning in and hopefully sharing this premiere, and of course a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and check out nathanoakley.com and join the forum. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!